When did you realize you don't have pretty privilege? Man, is this a topic? So many women on the internet have chimed in on this. So I want to read some of the threads that I've been seeing, and I'm just like, oh my God. People out here can really be assholes. People out here can be really mean and just unaware that it's free to be nice. It's free to be nice to people. So it's just crazy, but I'm going to read some of these random discussions on the internet and y'all just chime in. Like, have you ever dealt with realizing you don't have pretty privilege? It's okay. Like, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. But for some people, it is. So let's dive into this first take. It says, when my prettier friend and I walked into the same bar and every bartender ignored me to serve her first. Happened 3 times in one night. She didn't even have to wave them down, they just appeared. Meanwhile, I'm over here doing full arm signals like I'm directing a plane on a runway. Lord, one thing about me, you know when people are ignoring you, you know when people are being disrespectful and they're supposed to be doing their job. Okay, that's number one. Then on top of that, you want to ignore me? Okay, well, let me think about it. Like, I probably would do something even more petty. I would act like I'm choking at the bar on some food I might have ordered already. Be over here. Guarantee they gonna run over there. Guarantee they gonna run over there, y'all. And when they do, you could stop choking and be like, oh, now I got your attention. Work, I guarantee you it'll work like magic. You just gotta be petty too. You gotta be assertive. You can't be afraid to be assertive and command attention. Never be that friend where you're being ignored when you know you should be served, especially at a bar, out of all places. It's a few of them that I've read that also dealt with bar issues. So here's another one. It said, my friend and I were meeting for happy hour after work. I got there early to grab seats at the bar, and the attractive female bartender standing in front of where I sat down walked away to let the male bartender take my order. My conventionally attractive, why did I try to choke on that? Attractive friend entered about 2 minutes later, and the female bartender came back to take his order the rest of the night. It didn't feel great, but my male bartender never left me waiting for a drink, so I can't complain too much. Now, with that type of situation, I've had that happen to my friends before. We just came in to this spot called Whiskey Mistress in Atlanta. If you know, you know. And we were at the upstairs section area. It has a bar upstairs and a bar downstairs. So we went up there and, it was a little packed up there, but we stood at the bar and we were about to, purchase drinks or whatever. And the lady bartender was just being rude to us. She was like, oh, you guys can't stand here. You can't stand here. And I'm just looking at her, we all looking at her confused. Like, bitch, what are you talking about? Like, we're trying to order drinks. But I could see it from a different perspective. I'm trying to put myself in maybe bartender's shoes. Maybe women deal with, women bartenders deal with women not tipping well, or, they're not, buying more than one drink or something like that. But men, they come in the club, they come in lounges and stuff like that, restaurants, and they sit at the bar. They're buying drinks, they're leaving extra tips. But I'm not even that kind of girl not to tip. I am a tipper for sure. I'm always going to tip service no matter where it is. But to assume, something like that, it's just kind of messed up, and I guess maybe she rather deal with men instead of women when it comes to serving drinks. So I feel like that's more of a personal preference. I don't think she probably meant anything by it, but hey, who knows? But anyways, let's dive into the next one. It says, when my attractive sister stopped me from buying the next round of drinks, she asked, why are you doing that? Guys will buy us drinks. And she replied, no, sis, they'll buy you drinks. If that ain't a slap in the face, I don't know what to tell you, okay? You sit next to your sister and you already like, man, let's be for real, sis. Like, come on now. We know they gonna buy you drinks, and I probably will be the extra that they will, provide a drink for just because I'm conversing with you. Like, it's just you kind of reaping the benefits off the attractive sister. Who wants to feel like that though? Like, nobody wants to feel unseen, unheard, or whatever the case is. Like, I kind of get where she's coming from. And whether y'all realize it or not, men go through this too. Like, you going out with your girls, y'all choosing out the group, and it's always one guy in the group that is kind of like, bruh, no, I'm not talking to that man. Just like men do it to us, we do it to them too. Like, everybody wants the hot guy. Let's be for real. So this guy here said, I was always too shy to talk to anyone I didn't know in that kind of setting. However, I had a friend who always had success when we go out getting numbers or leaving with women. He did so by always walking past the prettiest girl in the friend group and doing exactly what you're saying to the second or third prettiest. His theory was that chances are that everyone tried to pick up the hot one and nobody tried the others. The others weren't ugly by any means. They were pretty too. Just nobody gave them a chance. Okay, so to piggyback on that, men are knowing the game. Like, what? So y'all willingly out here choosing maybe the second prettiest, like he said, the third prettiest friend, just so y'all can talk to women? Okay. I mean, it's not a bad idea if you look at it from a bro perspective, but come on. Like, as a woman, I'm looking at this like, are you serious? Like, what do you mean? It's either you think I'm attractive or you don't. Don't be comparing me to other women. And that's what, I mean, you can't really avoid that when you go out, but it happens. It's just what it is. Like, if you're by yourself, you're more likely to get hit on. That's just being the truth. That's the truth. You're more likely to get hit on because men are intimidated by groups. They don't really like to approach groups like that. And if they do, it's probably like on a dance floor that's crowded. You might be around your friends, but you're not like all in their face or whatever the case may be. Versus them coming over to your table, or they see you talking with a group of girls at the bar. It's different. So some men can get a little intimidated by that. But I don't know. Like, I just feel like just because your friend gets chosen over you does not take away from your beauty. It never will. That just means that person might have been interested more in your friend. And I mean, whatever, like, it is what it is. But that does not take away from your own beauty. And you have to recognize that. Like, you have to separate it from your ego, from realizing like, okay, this is just human nature. It is what it is. The right people will gravitate to you. Okay, this woman said, I used to be pretty. The worst thing about no longer being pretty is that it's a lot harder to get hired. Wow. And I honestly believe that, because when you go to certain places, places that are maybe more of an upscale vibe, maybe more of like a service, or, I mean, it could be anything, a gentleman's club, it could be anything really. For anything that's women dominated, I will say a lot of women get hired off of their looks. Okay. And that's unfortunate. That's very unfortunate. Even prettier women get tipped better. So that's just what it comes with. Like, people can be very shallow. But like I said, hey, some people glow up, some people don't. And it's just all about your confidence though. Like, if you have confidence and you breathe, eat, sleep confidence, people will recognize that about you. And honestly, you become more attractive. Your glow becomes brighter. People gravitate to you because you're just confident. And I've seen, less attractive people dominate a room. So it really isn't all about looks. It's about your confidence. Another lady said, I guess during the period in my life that I was quite fit, experiencing the difference in people's reactions to me, but damn, it's a lot of work. Now, I've heard this a lot. Like, when you are overweight compared to being a slimmer, fit toned female, people do treat you differently. I remember when I gained an extra 20 pounds or so, I looked, a little bit more chunkier in the face. I just didn't feel like myself. I knew I had to put in the work. I knew I had to be active. I had to start taking care of myself a little bit better. And it is night and day, okay? I know people talk about skinny privilege all the time. I don't think it's more so weight. I think it's just people will view you as disciplined. When you're overweight, you're clearly not disciplined because you're just sitting here eating all this junk food, not being mindful of what you're putting in your body, what you're feeding your spirit and your soul. People often correlate discipline with being healthy, strong, and fit. So yes, that is definitely a thing, and people will treat you differently based off of how you take care of yourself. And if you do take care of yourself, it'll be known. Like, people will be able to look at you and see discipline. People will be able to look at you and be like, oh, wow, she takes care of herself. She takes care of her nails, her hair. She eats good because, her body shows it. So I'm telling you, ladies, get in shape, stay in shape. Yes, it is hard work. I definitely agree with that woman. It is hard work, but it is worth every bit of it. You have to love yourself that much to stay disciplined, especially when it comes to your weight. Whew, y'all, I could read through these all night. Like, it's so many of these coming in. But let's see. This next one is, which one do I want to partake on? So this woman says, I have never been catcalled. I don't want to be catcalled, but whenever I read a thread about it and women are complaining how constant and exhausting it is to deal with, I think I am not a part of this group. Whew. And the lady replied, yeah, I'm like 95% sure I'm not a real woman because I literally get no male attention, including the creeps. Now, if the creeps don't even hit on you, girl, like, oh, you really in another situation from other women. But I'm pretty sure it's a group of women that do experience not being catcalled, and a lot of them will say like, oh, I'm so glad I don't have this. I'm so glad I don't have to deal with that. But deep down inside, women do love validation. Like, even if they don't like it, they at least want to know that they can partake in some of that. Like, who doesn't want to feel wanted? Who doesn't want to feel loved? Who doesn't want to feel seen? Who? Who? So a lot of people kind of be in denial, and instead of being in denial, admit it. Some women do enjoy the attention of other men, and then other women like myself could care less because yes, we have been catcalled. Yes, we are used to having attention. Not all women get that though. So I understand, but it never ever bothered me when I didn't. Some nights I would go out and nobody would approach me. I never cared. And that's the truth. I really don't care about men's opinion ever. Unless it's my man's. So it's just a lot of things that women deal with silently that they may not discuss or may not be truthful about, but it happens. But I'm going to read my last one. It's 10:17 tonight, so I need to go ahead and get ready and get my beauty sleep. But this last one said, it started in my late 40s and realized it full force in my 50s. I started noticing that people weren't as nice to me as they always had been. I grown up being recognized as pretty. I guess I always expected it to stay that way. And that's a hard truth that every older woman will go through. Like, yeah, people do look good as they age, but that's why it's so important to take care of yourself early on so you can age well. You can still be beautiful. I mean, regardless of your age, you're beautiful. Either way. I don't care what anybody says. But it's going to be a time in your life where you're going to look in the mirror and you're going to see yourself as older. And when I say older, I'm talking about, wrinkles, spine lines, stuff like that. Yes, women are dealing with that in their late 20s already. So you can only imagine how you may feel if you're insecure about that, how you will feel when you get in your 50s and 60s. And that's why it's so important to not lead with just your beauty. A lot of women, we do lead with our beauty when we're young. It's easy to, because we're young. Like, we look good. Your youth is just as important. But it'll come a time where you will age, and you may not experience as much pretty privilege as you did like in your 20s or your 30s or your 40s. When you really start getting up of age, you're gonna look older, and that's the way of life. And there's nothing wrong with aging. It's beauty in aging, because a lot of people don't get to live past 50, or 40 nowadays. People are getting sick younger and younger now. People are, getting diagnosed with cancer in their 40s, in their 30s, younger, even kids. So that's why I say you always have to take care of yourself, and you're more than just your beauty. Everyone has something uniquely special and uniquely beautiful about them. Whether people see it in you or not, as long as you see it in yourself, other people's opinions will never matter, okay? But this concludes my video. My name is Faceless, and I would love for you guys to have a discussion about this topic. Have you ever experienced not having pretty privilege? Leave your comments below, and until next time, bye, my anonymouses.